This is the Budget King. Usually I'll have some sort of silly intro, but eh, not today. Um, I might later. We'll see. Uh, well, we had a pretty good. Well, for this year, we have not had very much snow where I live in Indiana. Um, we had more snowfall last night than we have in a while, and the roads have just a tiny little sheet of snow on it, and it's like I don't know, 17 degrees outside, 16 degrees, my car says. All right. Yeah. By the way, as I always say in all my podcasts, I make these driving to or from work, usually to. Um, I try to throw something together at night. I end up just usually trashing them because, I don't believe in editing them. And, it stinks is getting halfway through a podcast. And bad for me is really bad because most of my podcasts aren't that great anyways. So it's kind of aggravating. That's the whole thing is a lot of people want to do a podcast. And it don't mean you should. Like in my case, maybe I should make a podcast, but I'm thinking maybe one day this podcast to be great for, my grandkids, their grandkids, whatever. Or, if I, heaven forbid, I pass away one day and, I guess everybody wants to leave some sort of legacy. So, you know, maybe I can inspire you to make a podcast and neither one of us will get subscribers together. So, all right. Let's get okay. What I thought of this morning as I was putting on my work boots is, would this record better with an iPhone? I've heard iPhones record good. I'm just using my Bluetooth and my phone. And what really stinks is, okay, like if you're listening to this on YouTube, because I transfer some of my audio to YouTube. Well, I don't have I'm not really spending any money on it. Like my phone's, literally under a couple $100. I got a free app that I'm using to use with my headset. Um, don't get me wrong, the headset is usually great, but it's not made for this. It's not made for podcasting. And there's a lot of people that hate podcasters like me. They're like, oh, the horrible audio, the audio snobs. If you got something good to say, I don't care if it's static. Like when I was a kid, I'll be trying to watch Spider-Man out of Chicago, and we live far away. I've got antennas together, and I could barely see Spider-Man. It was all like snowy. Like the digital age, you don't get that because now your TV either works or don't. But back then, you could literally see a little bit of red, a little bit of blue, in like a really snowy, crappy video, and you're like, just the fact that you could kind of hear it, and it's like, hey, and I'm Peter Parker, whatever, and you're fighting to hear Spider-Man. You're like, okay, cool. You're just happy the fact that you can hear Peter Parker. Um, so and there was other shows too, but Spider-Man was the one that I wanted to be able to watch out of Chicago. They had the Spider-Man cartoon. They said now, of course you go watch my Philo podcast and somewhere around there might be a link, or you can save on Philo. It's like $5. You say 5, I get 5. Hey, all right. And if you go to my podcast link, you can go down and hit support and support me. But the best way to support me is just to subscribe and to listen to the ads and stuff like that. But all right, and I was told that if I do ads mid-roll, like in the middle of my show instead of the beginning, I would probably get some better ads. And let's try to get Jim Davis here some better equipment, even if I'm just driving down the road doing a podcast. All right, so I'd kind of like to be the budget king by not spending money to do that, and find out if this is even worth to keep doing. Yeah, I'll probably still do it anyways. All right, so what I was thinking is, all right, if I had an iPhone, would this sound better? You know, I haven't really used an iPhone since iPhone 4. You know, I mean, I tried iPhone. I was used to Android, you know, and I've never Googled this or read the census on this, but do wealthier people use iPhones? Because I know a lot of, personally, I know a lot of, like, people that are poor, like, I mean, you know, I don't want to cut anybody down, but, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they're, like, on food stamps, and their kids are running around with iPhones, like newer ones. So I don't know if that's because of payments or what, because, like, a long time ago, my kids, they were wanting iPhones and the newest phone, and I'm like, I don't think so. And they're like, such and such, and I'm like, man, them people, they ain't got no money. How they afford an iPhone, you know? Well, they must have that phone plan or whatever, got the phone added on, or they got payments or used their tax return or whatnot. Yeah, I have no idea. But I've always felt like you can get more bang for your buck with Android phones, because I get a couple of $100 Android phone, and it always will do everything I need. The main thing I needed it for was a phone. I wanted it to be a phone. It's nice to be able to look stuff up. You know, got a GPS on it and all that, but you know, I could take you all the way back to, some of you might remember the original Droid. You know, Droid was trying to be the iPhone killer. It was a I believe it was Motorola. I believe so. I had a Motorola Droid, and then I didn't get the Droid 2, but I did get the Droid 3, and you know, it took a crap on me twice, the Droid 3. So I was like, you know what, these things are overpriced anyways, and I was going to be switching services anyways, and it was just, but I did like the original Droid. That was the first smartphone I ever had, and it was made very well, and it had the little slide out QWERTY keyboard and all that fancy stuff. And you know, my wife, she felt like, you know, because I was over the road at the time, she's like, you know what, you deserve a good quality phone. So I went and I got this fancy phone, and I got to be honest with you, I'm pretty happy with these little cheap phones. I mean, as long as you don't beat them up, I mean, they do a good job. But as far as the sound quality, I don't know. But what I was saying about YouTube is, somewhere when I transfer it, or when I'm trying to make it a YouTube video, it comes out with a kind of a terrible sound on the YouTube video. Now, hopefully that'll inspire the people to come listen to my actual podcast. But unfortunately, from what I've read, I've got to expand my listenership by getting people to maybe run across some of my stuff on YouTube, and maybe they'll, you know, be like, hey, what else is this, you know, guy got to say? It's worth a shit. So, yeah, I don't know. You know, I'm just out here. I'm just driving to work right now, man. I got this guy riding my ass with his fucking brights on. Excuse my French, but yeah, it's kind of annoying. So I'm doing 53, dude. It's 55. Roads ain't the best. Relax back there. He backed off for some reason. Hey, turn. Yay. So, anyways, the phones, like iPhone, you know, Samsung phone, which is like more or less like a equivalent, the Android equivalent. Now, you know, a lot of times they'll have maybe the newest firmware, but now it's not just anything. It's the Galaxies, because you know they got a bunch of cheap Samsung phones too, so they got them in, you know, different markets. But a lot of cheap phones are pretty decent. You'll know the cheapest ones, but a lot of times you got a decent screen. You know, most processors, even on the cheaper phones, I'm not talking about free phone. I'm not talking about the ones they hand you and say, "Hey, welcome to Cricket," or "Welcome to such and such. Here's your free phone with it." Oh, we got a free phone. You keep your free phone. I will spend an extra $100 or 150 or 200 bucks. Thank you very much. Yeah, the free phones are garbage, so don't take them. Bless me. Yeah, that was me sneezing, by the way. Make sure I don't throw my back out. You know, when you get old, you got to worry about stuff like that. Oh boy, I'm gonna sneeze. Hope I don't throw my back out. All right. So, these Samsung phones, they have different, you know, like $200, $300, $400, whatever, all the way up to, you know, like $1,200 phones. I swear the ones that you could lay on top of a pad and let it charge, that costs you extra couple $100. You know, just like I said, the newest Gorilla Glass, that sets you back another couple $100. So as long as you don't care about laying it on something and charging it, what's fancier glass? I mean, let's face it, 4K is 4K. Some of their cheaper phones have 4K, so what are you gonna do? You know, and then everybody's worried about all these pixels and this and that, and I don't know, man. You really want people to see your zits when you're doing a selfie? You know, I mean, how much of a good front-facing camera you need? It's like, listen, man, I don't need to look at the shit between your teeth from when you were just eating a minute ago, you know? It's like, when we first got HD TV, my wife was like, hey, you can't even tell the difference, right? She called me later. She's like, yeah, we're watching a show. It must be in high def. Yeah, you can really see these people's skin on these talk shows. You know, it's like, wow. You know, you don't realize how bad somebody's face is acneed up till you get HD TV, you know, high def, 720, 1080, 4K, whatever. They're all HD up. Of course, standard definition is like 360 on YouTube and I think 480. I don't know. But most people would be fine just watching 360 on YouTube, believe it or not. Just standard definition. But so whether or not it will record better, fucking, I have no idea. If you're even still listening to my podcast, I know this ain't real exciting. Here, I'll turn the corner here. I read yesterday that Dolly Parton is widely accepted by Democrats, Republicans, transvestites, straights, hillbillies, rednecks. Basically, everybody loves Dolly Parton. Is that crazy? Dolly Parton. You know? Wow. It's almost like, remember Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which I know a new one's supposed to be coming out, the newest, where they're older. They have not made their song yet to make universal love, you know, everybody get along, peace on earth and harmony, and excellent, you know, and they go through time in their little phone booth, and, you know, but I guess they have children, so of course they're going to have some kids in this show, but Bill and Ted gotten old without accomplishing anything. Boy, that sounds like a lot of people I know. But yeah, so the new Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure, you know, they got Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Is there two of them? I think there's just two. So I think this will be the third installment. I'm not real sure if there's 3 or 4, but yeah, they're making another one. Yee-haw. That's the worst yee-haw I've ever heard. Yeah, man. Shoot, I'm tired. Stayed up late last night. Did my taxes early. Yeah, I do them myself. How can I be the budget king if I pay somebody else to do my taxes, right? Yeah. So when I was in senior government class, I hated my government teacher for the most part. He was a jerk. But You know what? I did pay close attention when we were doing taxes. I learned a lot. Pretty much, um, you just follow the steps. It's that simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Use TurboTax, H&R Block. You can do their thing online. They even got free ones. Don't know how good they are. I have used TurboTax and I've used H&R Block online. And I've used H&R Block in person. Me and my wife are sitting there having to correct the lady because she's making mistakes on the computer. Good thing we see the computer at the same time. But we're sitting there like, no, that ain't what we said. Or, she'd be mistyping things and wondering why it's throwing red flags at her. And yeah. So sometimes it's better off just to do it yourself on a computer, step by step. If I'd say it's not too complicated. It really isn't. Depending on your taxes. If you own your own business, like owner-operator, and you got travel expenses and all that, see, I work for companies. I was never an owner-operator like that. And they get a lot of crazy expenses, and, but nothing complicates me too much. Even though I sound like an idiot, I'm pretty good at being a perfectionist when it comes to reading instructions and all that stuff. Gotta make a turn here. Gotta lose track of what I'm talking about for a second. So Bill and Ted's, all right, whatever their third installment is, their newest movie. Pretty stoked about that. So back to my iPhone, the Android debate here. So I'm wondering, do mostly poor people use Android or iPhone? I really don't know. This is what I've noticed, okay? I kind of think it goes all the way back to the Napster days with MP3s and all that stuff. So when people were in college, if they were people that stole music, they were probably not on an, I hate to say, whatever they were using at the time might have been what system they were with. But if they were purchasing, like, most of I would say more of your wealthy people that were working hard didn't have time to be stealing a bunch of music. So they were probably using iPhones because they had iTunes. iTunes is great. So a lot of their music, if your music is in iTunes, and your movie, if all your stuff, like you live in the iTunes world, like even podcasting, I had to put my podcast in iTunes. It should be available next couple days in the iTunes network. But 70% of people that listen to podcasts are listening through iTunes. So, these podcasters that are pushing, non-iTunes, because Android, the Play Store don't really have a direct iTunes app. So you can't just, use iTunes. I mean, if you're on your computer, Microsoft computer, you can. Now, there's workarounds and other apps, third-party, things that'll help you get iTunes. But as far as a direct Apple, iTunes download, there's not one. So Google Play, Google Music, and all that, I have a lot of my music in Google, and a lot of my movies I buy through the Play Store. So then when I'm using something like Movies Anywhere, one thing I look for is that it's available on Movies Anywhere. There's like a little symbol. I'll talk about that on another podcast. But, yeah, so, it's almost like we got Democrat, Republican, we got Apple people, Android people. Everything seems to be a debate. Everything seems to be a, oh, well, iPhone has better pixels. Well, yeah, but it's slower to get them. And, iPhone comes out with new technology, and then Samsung comes out with better technology. And, it's just all back and forth. It's like, which one can you hold in your hand and not fall? Oh, that's the other thing. You got phones that are copying off other phones. You don't hear about that so much now. I remember uh, they were all suing each other over copying each other's phone designs and stuff too. Yeah. Oh boy. Mainstream people don't know about this stuff, but I happen to be a huge fan of. Oh shoot, what do you call it? Well, back in the day, I watched Tech TV, um, Twitter, or not Twitter, uh, Twit, the Twit network. Yeah, I listen to the Twit network, and it's a lot of techie stuff, like Tech TV. They got tech this and tech that, and uh, they had a segment. They talked about Microsoft. Basically, it was a full-time programming of tech stuff, and I'm trying to remember. What's his name? Leo Laporte. Leo Laporte. Yeah. Boy, I miss that guy. I haven't listened to his podcast in a while. He was the only tech guy in town. He started off on like some type of public access, and yeah, but that's how I learned about DVD shrink. I learned a lot of free hacking techniques through Tech TV and stuff. But the guy that went on to uh, do some other stuff, man, I have trouble remembering names. But he was a tech guy. He ended up he had a company kind of like Reddit. I can't remember what it was. Some young boy that was on the show, but yeah, he did good for himself. But yeah, I learned about different ways to steal movies, like you how you can basically take the little macrovision off or whatever, the protecting thing, and then you could shrink them to fit on regular size DVD. But yeah, don't do that no more. But when I was younger, like most people, guilty. I didn't upload them or anything for people to torrent or Kazaa and the kind of stuff like Napster, LimeWire, all that stuff back in the old days. But I don't think most people do that no more. I think it's sort of a dying thing. So, yep, years ago when I was younger, didn't have much money. I did that, and now I buy them all. Even the ones a long time ago that I may have downloaded. I bought them, because it's just nice having things available legally. Like I said, movies anywhere. It's kind of like a universal place. Like my Fire Stick, I can't play stuff from the Google Play Store because Fire Stick don't have Google Play. So what I do is I got Movies Anywhere, and most of my movies, we have a lot of Christmas movies. We got Elf, Christmas Story, The Grinch. Shoot. One I can't think of. Oh, Christmas with the Cranks. Christmas with the Cranks. We got a bunch of movies, bunch of Christmas movies. But I bought them on Google Play, which is the Google Play Store, right? But how I play them through the Fire Stick is I subscribe to Movies Anywhere, and then you give them your credentials for Google Play, and then voila, you can it's pretty snazzy. So anyways, back to the iPhone Android phone debate. I think because you can get an old iPhone fairly cheap, and you see kids walking around with iPhones, but are they iPhone 12, 11, 10, 9? I have no idea. But as long as they have an iPhone, some kids are happy. Oh, I got an iPhone. What is that? What is that? I don't know. It's iPhone 4. I don't know. They don't know anything. They've never looked at the settings on their phone to see what firmware they got. So people don't care. What do you got? Oh, I got an iPhone. Okay, you got yourself probably iPhone 5. I think that goes for a whole whopping $100. All right, but that kid will think he's better than the next kid that maybe have a $200 phone that can be 5 times better, better pictures, better everything. But because he's got an iPhone, it's a status symbol. That's the word I was getting out for all this. It's a status symbol. Sometimes people have um, an iPhone and it's a status symbol. Just like, okay, in the Android world, there's like people, if they have a Galaxy, I have a Samsung Galaxy S, I have a Samsung Galaxy, like, oh, well, yeah, I have an Android phone, but it's better than all the other ones, you know? Okay, so, all right, do you have the one that blew up in people's pockets, you're telling me, or what? Oh, they fixed it. Okay, my bad. Um, so, which I've had the generic version of Samsung's, and they were great phones. So, okay, so I've talked about, Jesus, what a fucking weird podcast today. All right, I've been talking about Samsung, Galaxy, Android phones, whatever, all that shit, and iPhones, and I don't know, man. I'm kind of curious. I'm not going to go buy me an iPhone, but I am curious if it would improve the sound, because maybe I need something that's dedicated to making my sound, but then how do I upload it and use my programming and all that? Yeah, I'll just stick with what I got. I apologize to the people on YouTube that listen to my podcast that way, because, you know, I'm with you. I understand it sounds like shit. I don't blame you for not listening. I appreciate that you do, though, but yeah, I'm not real sure. I really need some good equipment for this, but man, this is quick and easy, man. Cheap, simple, it's great. All right. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to add a break into the show right here, and you know what? When I get back, I'll talk about something that's a little more fun. Thanks. Hello, I'm back. Yeah. To you, it probably seemed like an eternity. To me, it wasn't gone long at all. All right. Yeah, just like I cough on the phone and everything. So, all right, I'm gonna go back to Dolly Parton and with how she's universally loved by everybody, pretty much. I mean, if you don't like Dolly, you got a problem. All right. Yeah, she's had some face surgery, you know, that has made her less appealing. I would love to have seen her just grow old, but you know what? She's a beautiful woman. Whatever she does to her face, she's always going to be a beautiful woman. Her heart is like gold, and if not, she really does a good job portraying it. But what's really messed up about Dolly Parton is her husband claims he don't like her music. Okay? She should divorce this stupid ass. I bet he likes that money from the music. I bet he likes spending that money. You know, can you imagine? Like, he's been to one of her shows since they've been together. I don't know what it is about him that she loves him that dearly, but, you know, you would think that her husband would be super duper supportive, you know, but he's not. So my family and I, we went down to the Dixie Stampede, and you know, they had some good food there. It was fun. And yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, my wife and I, we actually got married down there in that area as well. But yeah, I mean, it's you know, Tennessee's a beautiful place. But Dolly Parton, my earliest memories of her were like when her and Kenny Rogers were in a Christmas movie together. But you know, Dolly and Kenny, it's like Kenny loves your music. Dolly Kenny's been through a million divorces. I mean, and, you know, Porter Wagner kind of helped give her a start, and then he got butthurt when she left the show, and she wrote the song "And I Will Always Love You." But I don't know if he was jealous because she left the show. He was in love with her because he was jealous of her and her relationship or what. But I bet if you ask 9 out of 10 people who they wish that Dolly Parton would have married or hooked up with, it'd been Kenny Rogers. It's like, Kenny, why in the hell didn't you and Dolly get together, man? You would schmooze her over, make her leave her husband. You know, I don't want Dolly to get divorced, but her husband don't even like her music. Screw that guy. You know, she's got a beautiful voice. You know, she's a good-looking woman. You know, what the hell? You know, I mean, the movie 9 to 5. Stumble out of bed and stumble to the kitchen. You know, she threw that song together real quick just for that movie because she was obviously a country artist, and she was going to be in that movie, and they told her, hey, you know, she's like, yeah, I'll put together that soundtrack. Working 9 to 5 was a huge hit for her, and here it happened to be something thrown together just because she was in the movie 9 to 5. Working 9, you know, 9 to 5. It had like Lily Tomlin, Dolly Parton, uh, shoot, uh, her brother or dad or something was, I can't remember that. Jane Fonda. That's it, Jane Fonda. And then there was the boss. I forgot his name. My apologies. I'm usually pretty good at remembering this stuff, but you know, driving down the road, everything's totally different. But uh, Dolly Parton's husband hates her music. What a shame. Uh, but if Kenny and Dolly hooked up, that would have been so great. But you know, I don't know how Kenny is in real life neither, but I know he probably kicked her to the curb. He likes them young. I've got to see Kenny. I never got to see Dolly Parton in real life though. But um, you ever drive down the road and sometimes the mailbox almost looks like it's a person? Kind of throws you off, don't it? I like when they got the little green fluorescent-y, shiny signs on them. When they don't, sometimes I get a little, oh shoot, you know, it's a mailbox. Man, I think I might be getting sick. This sucks. Um, so the Dixie Stampede, Sevierville, Indiana. Yeah, it's a good time. Too bad I didn't get to see Dolly there, but my wife and I both think very highly of Dolly Parton, which is great. So, well, and country's not my thing, but you know, I just try to. There's something wrong with people that don't like Dolly Parton, and as far as iPhones and uh, your Android phone, hey, if your phone works, you check your email, listen to my podcast, of course, watch a video or two, then your phone's great. Don't buy into this. You got to have the best phone crap. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful day.